Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, I got plenty to do today, and this is weird weather. Weird weather to be trekking around in. It is definitely got rain clouds above us, but the sun is beaming pretty hot. Feels like it's like 84 degrees, but it looks like it's probably like 20 degrees if you look around. But yeah, man, it's expected to rain. It rained a little bit this morning. It's the earthquake weather is what I like to call it. But everything went smoothly. They raised the prices a little bit though. They raised the prices. So that's the adjustment more than anything. But they're also pouring more money into the upkeep of the building. They got more people working. They got just new stuff, new curtains and stuff like that. So I'd imagine with the up price on things, they get what you pay for. And so yeah, that was not cheap. $450 was the total with the $30 deposit attached to that. So like $422 plus $30 deposit. The first week usually you ain't paying no more than like $360 something with the old management. So that was a little bit of a shell shock for me, but I had it, thankful enough. And so it is what it is, man. But yeah, got in there quicker. That's the thing, they process faster with this management team. You ain't gotta wait all day because they got 1 million people cleaning the place, you know what I mean? It's as opposed to the last management who only had like 2 or 3 cleaning people at a time. They got like 5 or 6. And they got maintenance men, you know, for the old management, it was like maybe two maintenance guys do a fantastic job. Here now, you got like 8, 9 different people working on various different rooms. So they you know, you're gonna get what you pay for. They're about to really upgrade this place a lot. And so that's really what it is. But yeah, man, I felt good, man. It's early in the morning right now. Well, not really. It's like 11:06, but I was able to get locked in there rather early. And so, you know, you take the good with the bad. You miss your friends and stuff like that, but you also understand that they're upgrading this place. They come in with a different budget and different expectations for what they want the building to be, and I think that's good for us who are going to be here in the long run. So I do want to get out of here though. I'll be honest with you, I think it's time for me to move on, especially with the prices going up. It's gonna be harder for me to save money, so that's a real thing. But yeah, man, that's what it is. So I'm thankful. God has been good to me as always, getting me into this place, getting me into my circumstances. You know, the motel went great, checked out of there, had a good breakfast this morning. All that stuff was normal, and spent some time talking to my sister last night and trying to get me connected with my baby niece, my brother Vernon's daughter. And my brother Vernon's birthday was yesterday. I sent him a message. We haven't been talking in years, but it's no bad blood. It's just family stuff, you know, that kind of got in the way of our comfort in communicating with one another, if I'm being completely honest with you. But you know, I still wanted to reach out to him for his birthday, and you know, through my baby sister Sonia, I'm getting in touch with with the mother of his child and his baby. So we're gonna try to come together and meet up and kind of try to start being a part of his daughter's life, which means a lot to me. But the circumstances are awkward. And that's really what it is. So I've been doing a lot of praying in regard to that situation, because I'm a forthcoming type of guy, man. I don't do the whole, well, we probably shouldn't talk about this because certain information is not best for the circumstance. Like that's why I stay out of certain social situations. But when it comes to family, you can't avoid that. And so it's like, this is how it has to be. And I don't know if that's comfortable for me as an outsider, but they got a lot of stuff with the household that my baby siblings were raised in and how they grew up. They're not on the same page at all. Some like one another, others don't like one another, and that kind of thing. So it's like, I'm an outsider who didn't grow up with them, who hasn't been in touch with them, now getting back in touch with them, and it's complicated. It is the definition of complicated. But my thinking is, hey man, I'm glad to be back in my little sister's life. And we love our niece, and my baby sister lives down there with them in that vicinity, and I'm far away. I'm a couple hours away, you know what I mean, that kind of thing. So it's awkward. It's very interesting trying to reincorporate myself into that situation and do what I think is right for everybody. So, you know, say prayers for everybody. It'll land on our family, and we all need it. Everybody needs it. So, yeah, that's a thing. What else? Not really much else, man. Just starting a new 3-week period with the first contract that I've signed with the new management. So they had new stipulations on parking. I don't have a car, so it doesn't matter, but you know, they don't want you to, some of the leniency that came with not paying on time, you just don't have that type of rapport with this group. That relationship was with the old group. These folks, they need to establish a new relationship with everybody. So we don't have that, oh, I can pay you several hours from now type of thing going on, or I'll just pay you tomorrow, you know, that kind of thing. That's over with. And so it's a lot more strict, and it's like reestablishing yourself to say, I'm good for it, that kind of thing. But they seem to be very work-withable. These people seem to be just as open to working with you. In fact, I owe them $2 right now, and they said they would accredit it to my tab on, but I told them, you know, I'll pay them today. But it's not more than $2, but the point is, like, they're willing to work with you. They're not so strict that they'll turn you away. But I think the main thing is that it's more expensive, and they have their own rules. They have their own paperwork. You know, they have more stricter rules on children, which also doesn't apply to me. But like, you know, they drawing a line in the sand with a lot of stuff as to where the old management would let the kids run around, which was fine to me. It didn't disturb me at all. But like, you can just tell it's a lot more strict around here. You don't see the kids no more. Like, some of my little buddies I used to see running around and stuff, they can't really run the halls like that, like, because of the way things are set up now. So I definitely agree with those rules. It just comes down to them kind of taking the family comfort neighborhood type feel from it and turning it more back into a business, like an actual business. And so that's really what it is, man. It's kind of tough, but at the same time, you want to just adapt to them and allow for them to do their thing, you know, allow for management to do their thing. So I'm working with them on, you know, trying to be on time and give them their space to work. And, you know, when they say this is the best they can do with certain things, I'm very happy to be thankful for whatever they can do, you know, just giving them the same courtesy that I'd hope to get from them, you know what I mean? And so it's starting off really well, new management. I like those guys, you know what I mean? They have a different vibe to them, but I like those guys. I think everybody's doing a great job so far. So off to a good start with new management, off to a good start. And I hope the best for the building and for everybody there. So that's kind of what it is. It's a weird dynamic because, like, I'm welcoming them in, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy that's been here for 2 years. So, for example, the guy who was setting up my room just now, getting the paperwork for me, he was going to take me on a tour to the room, because that's what they normally do. The first couple of times I was here, they would, you know, they would take us to the rooms before having us check into it, so we okay it. The reality is, the room that I've just got checked into, I've already been in twice. So I knew more. You know, I was telling him, yeah, I like this room. It's a good room. Like, letting him know, like, yo, you don't ever have to take me on a tour, bro. I didn't, at this point, lived in half of the rooms in this building. Literally half of the rooms in this building I've stayed in. And so, yeah, that was just kind of funny. It was like, you know, he did a great job. I humored him by going on that tour with him, but I mean, if anything, I should be giving him a tour in the building, to be honest with you. So that was a thing. I talked to one of my maintenance guys who, like I said, some of those folks still live here, and they're trying to transition, and he was saying he's looking for a job and all that. I just hate it for him, you know what I mean? Because the guy was doing such a great job, and then overnight doesn't have a job, and it didn't have nothing to do with his performance, you know? People just end up working their tails off for years and years and years, not taking hardly any breaks. I don't think I saw him and his brother take a break the entire time I've been here for 2 years, holidays included. They're always working. And then overnight, boom, nothing. It's like, damn, they couldn't even give him some severance. I mean, I don't know if he got that or not, but like, what those guys deserve for how much they were investing in this building and how much they were pouring themselves into the work. You just hate to see it, but at the same time, it's like this is the understanding of business and life and in capitalism. You know, you could work for 30 years and they'll send you away overnight, with not as much as a thank you in some cases. You know what I mean? And so this is just yet another reality of the cold nature of that. And at this point, after being on this earth for 41 years, I'm not necessarily surprised. I don't think any of them are surprised either. But it's the nature of it, man. They worked hard. They worked long hours. And just like that, having nothing to do with their performance, they're out of a job. It's crazy. So, and it wasn't like they had 3 weeks and 4 weeks to prepare. It wasn't. This happened rather quickly. So I don't know, man. I feel terrible for those guys and for everybody else who has been fired in this situation. But I trust, you know, I've been praying for all of them, and so I trust they'll be landing on their feet very soon. So that's my prayer for all of the workers at the Studio Lodge Hotel who were no longer there. So, and you know, God has blessed new people with new jobs. You know what I mean? I'm sure these people who just got these jobs are very happy to have them, and so there's opportunities there for new blessings for new people. So yeah, man, that's what's going on. Just happy to be experiencing that. This is an era in and of itself, just, you know, living and seeing things that I otherwise wouldn't see under different pretenses and circumstances. You know, just something else I can add to my Rolodex experience in life. And I'm looking for another place to live. You know, at this point, I think it's safe to say that I think it's in my best interest to now start looking. I know I've been talking about that, but you know, I've been kind of hesitant. I don't like change. It's a lot of uncertainty coming with what's next. It's a lot of headaches that come with trying to find a place and getting approved without credit and having somebody, you know, co-sign you or whatever the word would be. All of that is something that I now am faced with having to really make happen. And I think, you know, I like just routine. I like, as you guys know, just doing things the same way over and over again. And when you got to take on big change, especially if you're asking yourself to initiate it, if it's your business to initiate. Some people, that's very easy. Other people, it's not, and I'm one of those nots, pretty much. So I gotta step outside of my comfort zone to welcome stable living, a real actual apartment that I'm not gonna have to worry about leaving every 3 weeks, and that's definitely what I deserve, I think, at this point. I think that all of the things that I've gone through in this situation have helped me kind of establish who I want to be going forward, in terms of my sobriety, in terms of my effort in life, in terms of my activities and how I want to handle problems and spiritually and all of that. I think that I've established so much in these last 2 years, probably more in the last 2 years than I had in the last 15 years, if I'm being very honest with myself. And so this has been a big growth period between 39 and 41, and I don't know if the Lord is quite done with me here or not, but I think that everything in my life is just telling me, yeah, it's probably, this is when I start initiating change for a change. And so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's, like I said, that's outside of my comfort zone. That's outside of what I think is normal for myself. And we'll see what happens. But, you know, I was prayed a little bit about it, and I think what I was getting in prayer was things are going to fall right in place. I don't believe that I'm being told I have to do more than what I think I have to do. You know what I mean? It's not like I got to go super struggle. Essentially is what I'm gathering from the praying that I did. It's like things are going to kind of just fall into place and watch it work. The Lord has essentially said to me more or less that I've been doing things the right way in the last couple years, and a lot of what I'm used to is me living off of the consequences of doing things the wrong way, doing things without God. Now it's time to experience what things look like when you've done things the right way with God. And so that's a whole new thing for me. I don't particularly find myself looking back on my past and seeing me doing things the right way a lot. So I think I have been, and I think God has already begun to start showing me that he's ready to show me what it looks like when you reap the rewards from doing things the right way. So I hope that's what it is. I'm praying that's what it is, and we'll see. But yeah, man, it feels good to be out again, doing my little walk thing. I got a lot to purchase today. This is gonna be one of the biggest versions of my day shopping. I'm getting a lot of stuff today. Some stuff I may just not purchase. I may just get just enough for like to make sure I have everything I need, and then just save some of those things for another trip on Saturday or something like that. Tomorrow I won't be able to do it because I got therapy 1:30 with Lydia. So it's like, if I'm being honest with you, I scheduled that one not knowing I was gonna have so much going on. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what it is. I got a bunch of drafts to do tomorrow. I was supposed to be headed to San Diego on Saturday, but that's definitely not happening. I told my sister earlier in the week that I wasn't gonna be able to do that. But this was just not the right time to schedule a therapy session. Just slap dab in the middle of trying to transition from room to room. And like I said, I got so much to purchase that I probably want to split it up into 2 days. So it's just like, you know, I probably should have canceled that or rescheduled that when I realized it was starting to be a little much. But I'll be there tomorrow. I expect that will be no problem. When it really comes down to it, I prioritize making sure I'm there over other things that I would otherwise want to do. So yeah, this is it in regards to that. I'm gonna be there. So yeah, man, that's another thing I have to be proactive about is find another type of therapist. You know, my sister was giving me some pointers on some things, some links that I haven't even clicked on yet. I got to go back through our thread and just look at all the stuff she's been sending me, because she's been sending me a lot of good stuff and I haven't had a chance to click on the other good stuff. So I know she's like, everything she sent me has been A1 in regards to my interests and in regards to different things that we talked about. And so, man, it's been a great blessing getting back in touch with my sister. And if I'm being forthcoming with everybody, I think I misunderstood my sister growing up. Not to say that I didn't have wonderful thoughts of her, because I really did, but I just don't think I understood her like I believe I'm learning to now. And to a point, I think she's healed a lot and grown a lot, so she's able to convey herself in her innermost much more clearly, because she struggled with a lot of things over the years and had some behavioral issues and stuff like that. But what I've come to learn is her struggles did not represent her heart. She didn't some of those struggles that she was going through represented some of the things that were going on around her and ultimately how those things molded her. But to her core, she's a very caring and sweet person. She's not a manipulative person. She's not looking to be spiteful, you know what I mean? And that's how I'm gathering. I wasn't really clear on that. The person I thought she was, it's not who I ultimately am finding her to be. And I get great vibes from her on top of that. The energy reads well, so to speak. So I'm very thankful. She's been doing a lot of helping in my life. I'm really lucky to be in touch with her right now and to have the relationship that I have with her right now. She's really keeping me going right now, really keeping me going. And you know, it comes from a genuine place, because it's your blood, it's your family. You know, a lot of times I was looking for this type of support from people who were not family to me, and as a result, it may come conditionally, or they may not have that to give. But you know, when it's your family, that they have a vested interest in you in a different way, and it's not riddled in conditional love. You don't have to have it together for them to love you deeply, you know what I mean? And that's something that I just haven't experienced very much since my mother passed away. And my sister's been really helpful in just reestablishing, like, hey, there's people out here who love you, don't need nothing from you, or there are people out here who love you who don't need you to be a certain way in order for that to continue. Or, you know, just it's family, and that's, I think, that's something that has been kind of absent in my life as it pertains to that type of thing. Obviously, my uncle's been helping a lot, so don't get it twisted. I've been getting that from him as well, but my little sister is a different thing, and so I really appreciate that from her and from God. And so, yeah, man, hopefully that continues to grow. We're still learning one another. We're gonna try to navigate the complexities of our family dynamic, and try to continue the process of bonding and learning how to maneuver around just everything. My mental health, to be honest with you, and my ways. She's still learning how I am, and then just trying to get in our niece's life, man. Trying to help, because it's a lot of drama over there right now, as I was mentioning earlier. So I'm asking for guidance from God. I really am. And how best to represent myself, and how best to respect my family, how best to put my niece first and what's best for her, and just all of it it's not very clear to me right now what my role should be in the circumstance. I know that's very vague, and obviously I'm forthcoming with most stuff, but this is not my business to tell, once again. So I respect that. Yeah, man. Of course, there's things going on in the world, and I've been paying attention to a lot of stuff. We talk about everything that I do pay attention to, and I was watching some things online that I thought were pretty interesting. Not as serious as Gaza. We'll get into that, of course, going forward. But what's on my mind is this Adrian Broner situation. He was on a podcast with Cameron called "It Is What It Is." Cameron and Mace came together with a podcast, and they let Adrian Broner on, and I guess his energy, I don't know if he was on drugs or drunk or just struggling with his mental health. I don't really know, but he was trying to flirt with the lady panelists on the show, and Cameron told him, "Hey, man, her boyfriend is here in studio. Like, you're gonna have to back off." He essentially was telling him, more or less in his own words, to be respectful. And Adrian kind of he acted like he understood that, but then proceeded to continue on his path, saying things that just were slightly inappropriate. And eventually it came down to Cameron just asking him, "Hey, man, I'm gonna pay you for your money, pay you for your time. Thank you for coming, but I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." And Adrian left peacefully. Everybody there is serious dudes. Everybody knows each other's background. Nobody there is to be played with. So it's not like anybody disrespected anybody, but he did handle that the way that I think it should be handled in most situations. If dudes are gonna act crazy, and furthermore disregard the warning, then you do have to let somebody know that they can get their walking papers. And I think he handled that the right way. I'm not really certain if there was any dialogue after that, but it's been a talking point online, because first of all, you don't think that a person like Adrian Broner would not understand the boundaries that he should be engaging in a situation like that. And then furthermore, how disrespectful his behavior was, not only to the lady and the boyfriend who was in the background somewhere, but also to Cameron, when Cameron had told him, "Hey, calm down." He told him, "The boyfriend is here, man. That's my man. So I need you to back off." And for him to disregard that was highly disrespectful when you consider it. And so my point of view was just like, at the end of the day, I think Cameron handled that very well. That's the way that you want a man to handle that situation. And I think Adrian Broner, he did not look his best there in that situation. It was rather strange how he was behaving in that situation. And, pray for him that he's able to get right, whatever that looks like in his life, because clearly he wasn't right. And so, yeah, that was on my mind, man. It's just, that's how you want to see it handled. I would be very thankful if I were a man in that lady's life, or if I was her brother or something like that, and Cameron handled that this way. Very thankful for that. I'm glad that nobody came to blows. Obviously, you don't want to get into any type of fisticuffs, it could turn into um, a dangerous situation, clearly, because Adrian Brown is a professional fighter. And then furthermore, like I said, Cameron and Mace are not to be toyed with. Everybody knows their background, understands that could have went left fast. And I think everybody understood that. And so, I think they handled it well. And the lady didn't make a fuss about it. She handled it like a lady as well. She didn't seem to be too bothered by it. And it was what it was, man. Cameron handled that the way that I would want to have handled that too. Diffusing any possibility of people getting angry, but drawing a hard line in the sand to say that we will not allow our sister to be disrespected at all. And so I thought he did a great job there. What else? I didn't watch the fight, the Canelo fight. I did not watch it. I don't know what happened there, other than to say that Canelo did not win the fight. And I heard it was a great fight, and I'm not really a boxing fan. I like watching certain types of fighting, but it's not really my thing, to be honest with you. Really follow the sport of boxing. The sport of boxing has been so corrupt for so long that I don't know, man. It's just not really my thing. I respect it, though. I respect it to be something that can make people generational wealth, and I'm not opposing in any way to the entertainment aspect of this sport at this point, because I'm watching guys kind of fight one another that we know probably wouldn't be taken seriously in most situations, but they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars for it. That's something that I definitely support. I'm not against it at all. I do think it's kind of gimmicky at times to watch certain people fight one another, but if the money's going to be that up in the air, it's kind of hard not to see the fruit and just playing along. You know what I mean? People are gonna support it the way that they do. I don't see why they wouldn't continue the gimmicks, and it doesn't seem to be taken away from the serious fights like this one. So, all things considered, boxing seems to be as thriving as much as any sport in the world to me. So that's what it looked like to me. But I'm not a huge fan of it. So it is what it is. But I did watch a lot of boxing as a kid. Big fights, I watched a lot of them. Mayweather and Tyson, Holyfield. I watched a lot of fights over the years and enjoyed them. But this one just wasn't really on my radar this time. So it was what it was. But I heard I missed a great fight. I heard I missed a great one. So it is what it is. But what else, man? I didn't talk so much about the Charlie Kirk assassination and the commentary going on around that. I don't think I really have too much to add to that. I've been following Candace Owens' commentary on that. She's trying to get to the bottom of it because she has a personal interest in it, of course, with Charlie being her comrade coming up when they were both trying to make a name for themselves. They really ran together. So it's a special thing for her to catch this. Catch the killer and get to the bottom of these conspiracy theories. And essentially what she's finding as she's digging is a bunch of cause for concern in regards to corruption from those who are supposed to be investigating this thing, which doesn't surprise anybody who's paying attention to it. I think I would be more surprised to find that there was no corruption involved rather than to find people trying to cover their tracks. This is more likely what I would have expected. So, I've been praying for Charlie Kirk's kids. I don't know what to think of his wife, to be honest with you. I don't get good vibes from her at all. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something there with her too. Candace doesn't seem to think so, but when you dig into her history, you find out some things about her that's starting to come about, some information that makes her look like she was planted there from the beginning. And so I don't particularly trust Charlie's wife, but I do know that their kids are real. She gave birth to real children that are his, and they have officially been placed on my bereavement list of people I pray for who are bereaved. So it is what it is, man. I don't have to agree with somebody to pray for them. I don't have to like everybody in their life to know that the children deserve the best. So that's kind of how I look at that. But, at the end of the day, man, honestly, I just feel like this is just a bunch of mess being stirred up to make people fight one another, make people hate one another, make people unhappy with one another. I think a lot of that stuff is manufactured. Now, how they going about doing it, I ain't sure. But I think it's meant for people being angry with one another and, trying to go back and forth about one another's race, getting people who are extreme on both sides to act out and create chaos that can be manipulated and benefited from those on high. And I think they've been trying to pin us against one another for a long time, and I hope that people aren't taking the bait. I hope enough of these little side conversations are planting the seeds in the minds of whoever are listening to say, hey man, they're trying to piss you off. They're trying to get you up in arms about your politics, your identity politics and what have you. They're trying to get you into a space where you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, so you end up crashing out or whatever. That's what it seems like they are trying to do. And if I'm being honest with you, with the presence of the internet, a lot of this is much easier to see than maybe it would have been in the 60s and 70s. So we need to be sharp. We need to spread the word. We need to stand down on violence. We need to stand down on rioting. We need to stand down on being drawn to this negativity that naturally comes from us being provoked. And that's exactly my message, man. Stand down. Natural inclination is to act a fool when you feel disruption for a lot of people. But understand, you playing right into their hands. It is exactly what they're hoping you do. So stand down. You know, I've never been one to protest. I respect protesters. I support protesters. When people are picketing, I don't believe in crossing picket lines. With the exception of this Target situation. And the reason why I do that is because Target, for me, is the only place where I can get a lot of the stuff that I need for my dietary restrictions and stuff like that. And so I know a lot of my people were boycotting Target. I just ignored that this time. If that makes me a bad guy or a hypocrite, I live with that. I kept going to Target. I didn't care. I'm headed to Target now. But I do support those who are doing it, and if my circumstances were different, I would support all of these boycotts against nonsense pointed at good people. So that's what I want to say. I just reserve the right to choose, just like you would. And you know, I think the cause is worthy, but it would have been too much of a personal strain for me to get Target all the way out of my life when I clearly buy everything there. So yeah, just kind of wanted to address that because people have been seeing me go to Target throughout the course of this process. Maybe they think I'm a hypocrite. Fair. I don't have any problem with saying that in regards to that. So yeah, man, you know, I think that I was saying all of that to say I have a respect for people who want to boycott and protest. It's just not really my way of doing things. I don't really like going into crowds of people. I don't like offering myself up to be beaten by police officers. But I do respect those who see that is the way to go. It has worked. I believe it can work. I just have a personal responsibility to myself. And this is what I choose to do. I don't like being in the mix with a lot of people. I just don't. I think for me, it's just how I'm wired. Protesting in the street and stuff like that. I've seen too much footage of people getting beaten and hosed down and have a dog sicked on them. I just don't desire any of that for myself. I really don't. But I definitely respect those who do, and I think it works. I really do. You just have to be up for the consequences of it, and I'm not. I'm really not. Just got to know who you are. You know what works for you. You know how you survive. And you know, I try to use my voice on my platform. That's my protest. I try to, you know, try to just influence people around me in communication to the best of my ability. That's my protest. I try to post online and use my social media as a means of getting things out that I feel are important. That's my protest. I don't particularly find myself wanting to be part of large masses of people marching and things like that. That's not how I survive. But, you know, support for everybody who feels the need. I feel the same way about parades. It don't have to be a protest. I'm just not big on big bodies of people unless it's something I want to do, which I reserve the right to see. Like, for example, if I want to go to a concert or if I want to go to an amusement park or something like that, or if the cause it drives me out there for some reason in the future, I reserve the right to change my mind. You know what I mean? But as of right now, It's just not how that's not how I move. But it's what it is. I think it works, but people need to be careful. That's really what my point of view is. The point I was trying to make is being careful is the right way to go for yourself, man. You know, because they want you to get out in the streets so they can sick the dogs on you. They want you to get out there and protest so they can, you know, essentially say that you're a part of a riot or a part of a mob or something like that. They really, those in power, they've proven themselves to be those type of people who want us out here thinking we're doing things for the right causes, believing that we are, but ultimately manipulated into looking as if we're doing the wrong thing or being bad guys. And you know, that's really my point of view. I'm sick of that for my people. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of that for others as well. And you know, I think it comes down to if you don't start nothing, it won't be nothing type of thing. You know what I mean? If there's no injustice, you're not going to see any disruption. And that there's disruption is that injustice was first in place. So that's really my point of view. I just want to make that very clear to say I think people need to be very careful when they're protesting going forward, to expect riot police and riot you know, stuff. Get up on how to protect yourself if you're pepper sprayed or, you know what I mean? We just got to be tactical because they really want to manipulate resources against peaceful people. We've seen that with a lot of different things. You've seen that with the protests for, you know, on behalf of Palestine. You've seen that now with the protests on behalf of illegal immigrants. They want to treat good people like they're terrorists and like they're rioters and like they're looters, and that's just, you know, people who are reacting to injustices in the world. They want to beat us and exert brutality that's reserved for criminals, violent criminals, on us who are disruptors to the corruption that they ultimately engage in. And that's really what it comes down to. These are bad people trying to get away with bad things. And they're going to vilify anybody that holds them accountable for it. And they're going to justify any means they are able to manipulate in order to do so. And when you understand that, you never allow yourself to get into a situation where you confused by that, to where you get out there and offer yourself up to be brutalized. Not unless it's just absolutely within your DNA to allow that to happen. And I don't think too many people are. So sometimes when you feel provoked to protest, sometimes the best thing to do is stay home. It really is. Because they're provoking you to protest so they can kick you behind out here in these streets, these police officers and these riot police and these SWAT teams and all that are put together to brutalize people for the sole purpose of exerting an example against you for standing up to the corruption that they ultimately agreed to. So you don't play into their hands as chess not checkers. You find another way. You live to fight another day. So that's what I want to say. Because they're going to kill people at some point. Eventually, they're going to turn to deadly force. These are criminals we're talking about. Bad people with a lot of power. Who a lot of them are doing things that they don't even really want to do. But because of their transgressions that others know about and are now in the pocket of those people, are going forward with. So when you know that somebody is a bad person to begin with and they're doing bad things on behalf of bad people who know their secrets, then you know they'll go as far as crossing the line every time. Just like whatever put them in a position to be as compromised as they are, that same decision making will be utilized to justify the corruption that they ultimately are involved in. And so be very careful in the presence of dealing with dirty people, not to expect their behavior to be on the up and up, and not to bet your life on them not crossing the line, because they already crossed lines. That's really what it comes down to. And that's my point of view. If you're willing to die for it, then you may put yourself out there to let that happen. But you can do a lot more with your voice than you can in a casket. That's what I will say. People with voices can do a lot more for a cause than martyrs can. A martyr can just be a memory to inspire someone else. But their voice is so much more powerful, in my opinion. So that's what I want to say, man. Don't offer yourself up to slaughter. Don't expect these people not to cross lines. Don't expect for them to treat you like you're a good person just because you're doing a good thing. That is not what controls this world right now. What controls this world right now are habitual line steppers, liars, sex fanatics who are ultimately in the back pocket of people who are looking to destroy the world for their own gain. Religious extremists. That's the type of people who are controlling this world right now. We need to be honest about that. Selective humanity pushers, racists, bigoted individuals who are self-righteous but not self-aware. That's the type of people, that's the type of energy that's controlling this world right now. We need to be very, very aware of that and bet properly, is essentially what I'm saying to you. Bet properly. Don't place a bet that you're definitely going to lose thinking they're not going to cross lines. I cannot stress that enough. They will. They already have. So that's really what I want to say, man. That's what's on my heart today. I hope this message finds somebody well. My name is Bdf 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.